Hey guys, welcome to Random Fix. Behind me today, guys, I have my new toy. This is a brand new Sprinter that I picked up, and I'm going to be converting this into a camper van. So in this video today, I'm going to show you guys some of the things that I'm doing. So these are my ideas for my build. After looking at so many people's builds over the last 50 days, really investigating which one's going to work out best for me, because I don't want to take 2 years doing this build. So this is a Sprinter 170 long wheelbase, high roof, and it is not the extended edition. There is another version which is about 18 inches longer. This is not that one. This is a two-wheel drive. It was a brand new vehicle that I got for a stellar deal, so I'll try to make a video on how I got this for under 50 grand. And it has so many upgrades from the factory, like the diesel heater, the inverter, electricity, 12 passenger navigation. Anyway, second battery. There's a lot of stuff I'm going to cover on this video, so I'm going to tell you guys about what I'm going to do with this van, how I'm going to go about it, and I'll have detailed videos explaining each one of those builds that I do. So let me share with you guys a little bit more about the van. It's basically sat on the lot because of COVID. I bought it for a really good price. I'll show you guys how I did that in another video. So I got it for under 50 grand here and had 150 miles on the odometer. So I'm going to show you guys the van now and some things I'm going to be doing down the line. Just kind of keeping you guys in tune with this build as we complete this. So about a month ago, I found a really good deal. After I was pretty much almost set on getting a ProMaster from Winnebago, and before I signed the actual paperwork, I was like, let me see if I can get a used Sprinter for a decent price. So started doing some research and I found this. So I got this brand new for $49,000. They had a special on it too, so it was 60 months at 0%. So I was like, cool, I'll go ahead and grab this. So this is a 12 passenger here. I actually took out 2 of the rows, so it's 3, 3, and 4. So we got a total of 10 seats up back here and 2 in the front. And this one was actually made for somebody in the wine region, so it had a partition, which I'll show you guys later on, for basically the cargo back there. So, and it has some other upgrades as well. So let me hop up here. So it came with the TV, inverter, which I'll show you guys, some speakers, an amplifier up here, and this was built in because normally on the Sprinter passengers, this whole section here is left basically empty. So it does not have the swivel chairs, but it does have the navigation. So if you are buying a Sprinter, please do not skimp out on the navigation. The navigation system on this one right here is so good. It beats my regular car navigation systems. I did not get the Distronic Cruise just because it didn't have it. I got a crazy deal on this, so I'm happy with what I got. It does have the diesel heater, which we're going to talk about in later videos, and it's a real pain in the butt because it will not turn on unless it's under 29 degrees, and that's really cold. So I've done some overnight trips in this van already, tried it out. I'm going to show you guys my temporary bathroom choice, just because I wanted to see if this could be a long-term solution, because I've had an RV before. If you guys have never had Blackwater Fears before, it's really terrifying when you got about 20 gallons of black waste underneath your motorhome and you're trying to find a place to go and dump it, and the nearest one is 100 miles away and there's a line out the door and everybody's touching it, and it's just a kind of a nasty scene. So I wanted to see if I can get away with a cassette toilet in this one, and so far it's actually worked. So I'm kind of happy about that. And so I'm going to give you guys my thoughts on this. So let me show you guys some of the other features of the van. So it came with, I think it's Xantex is the brand here. Inverter here, it's a 2000 watt sine wave inverter. you have to take the door off every single time you want to basically turn it on. So I ordered the remote. The remote is in, and basically it just displays the voltage here, and it's got 2 ports. So I've actually used this on a air fryer so far. Electric skillet. It handled it. I have not tried the convection oven, but I will. And so far, so good with that. And this does have its own battery, which is going to be located down here on the driver's side under the hood. So it's got its own battery, and I think this is rated at 70 amp hours. So I just ordered 3 280 amp hour LiPo batteries for this, which I'll cover in another video. And I got them really cheap because I almost spent about 5 to 9 grand getting a battle-born system. But I'm going to go ahead and attempt to do this myself and show you guys how to do it and save you guys $7,000 in just that one video right there. So this has the auxiliary battery here, which is super cool. And if you guys are checking your van and you want to know if it has that heater and you don't want to go climb underneath, I'm going to show you guys what to look for. So when you're on your driver's side here, you want to look for this particular sticker here. And I think the brand here is Wabastu. This is a German company. It's really high end. So I saw the sticker here as I was ordering the actual diesel heater here. And I was like, wow, I might have a chance here to save about $2,000, and it's factory installed. So I climbed underneath and I was able to actually verify that it indeed had the diesel heater. And this one is even a little sweeter because it basically warms up the coolant and it keeps the engine fluids warm, which is better for the engine. And that was pretty cool. And it's got those 2 big ports down there. So there's the intake and there's 2 exhaust ports over there. So that can work out really good. And so far, I've only been using the one seat. And I got to tell you guys, these seats on these Sprinters are so heavy that I had to get my neighbor to go move the 4-seater. And it was really daunting. So they're a little challenging to get out. I do have a video on how to go ahead and remove them because it's not like the old Sprinters. You're going to have to use a little bit more technique, and you want to make sure you don't hurt yourself. And even with just a 3-passenger seat, you're going to have very little room to get to the back. So what I did on this seat right here is I actually removed the armrest here just so it's a little bit more comfortable. And that definitely allows me to pass by a little bit easier here. And the van was pretty cool. Another thing I didn't mention is that it has these green LED lights underneath, because this was for basically for people that were going to be drinking wine and having good times before COVID hit. And that has definitely not been happening lately. And the 2 seats, as I mentioned here, they're not power. They're just manual seats. I did go ahead and get the bases for the seats, so I'm going to go ahead and do that upgrade on here. And I kind of wish I didn't get the driver's side, but I did get it. So something to keep into account. Maybe if you're doing this for yourself, go ahead and just keep it the passenger side. I think you'll be a little bit happier with the results. As you guys can see, I also have 3 other 110 volt outputs right there. So I have 1, 2, and 1 more back there. So those are already hooked up by the outfitter, and I'll show you guys the outfitter's name and even the paperwork later on. I think it was like $6,300 what is the cost Mercedes paid for the outfitter to put the TV, the inverter, build out some of the rear compartment and also the power outlets, and they did a horrible job. So if you guys are thinking about doing it, I'm gonna show you guys why not to use them. And it's very important. So and one thing that I did find out about the seats is there is going to be one distributor for North America that distributes those seat swivels. So I'm going to have a separate video on that, so watch that. and it'll save you probably 200 or 300 bucks just by getting it from the right source. So show you guys where to get that and where to get all the different accessories as I do this. I've probably spent about 200 or 300 hours in just researching the parts and what to get and how to save the most amount of money. And I intend not to take 2 years to build this out. So I'm going to do this in a very speedy fashion. So I've already been building out some of the cabinets that I ordered. Um, those are already built. So I'm getting everything together. I got the microwave convection oven already, and I've been using it at the house. It works great. You always want to test it at the house first before you go do a real install in the camper. And this is my second camper RV. So the first one was a great experience. That too was a Sprinter. It just did not drive as well as this. That was a 2018, and these 2019s drive amazing. It does have that 7-speed transmission versus the 5-speed transmission, and I was a little nervous about that because that 5-speed transmission was really tested and tried over many years. But Mercedes got this transmission right. However, I am going to be doing the transmission service right on time, if not earlier, just because I know I'm going to be putting a little bit more weight in here. So you want to pay special attention to that. And I know there's a bunch of people out there that are doing reviews and telling you guys to go with that 4-cylinder motor, guys, because it's got similar horsepower and it's a little bit cheaper. But trust me, when you have a bigger van and RV, it's not about the horsepower, it's about torque. So if you look at the graphs on how a diesel engine works and how it's able to create torque at very low RPMs, and you drive the two, and you can see how much easier the diesel basically just accelerates and how much of a lesser load it actually has to go through. Because no matter how big of a turbo you put on a 4-cylinder gasoline engine, it's basically going through so much more stress that wasn't designed for. And these diesel motors are really forged out of better material. They're going to last longer, and I just think it's a better investment. So keep that in mind, and don't go for the cheaper alternative, even though sometimes it sounds nice that you don't have to go put diesel in and worry about DEF fluid. All that stuff is really pennies compared to the longevity that you get out of a diesel and the feeling and the resale value too. Keep that into account. So look at things long term. And now we're gonna go ahead and move to the back here. So we are at the back of the van. So I got the 2 doors here, and let me open up the second door. And if you guys look behind me, guys, that is my temporary COVID toilet. So I have it behind this little partition that was already there. So it kind of made it easy. My setup came with these blockouts here for the windows. They're made out of wood. I think I'm going to remove them and actually make my own window screens, which we've been playing around with so far. That thing has worked really well. I love the fact that I can just get home and push a button and it just goes down my toilet. I don't have to find a dump station and worry about all that. I had a property that has septic system and I used to dump there, and even at this house I have a clean out. So let me show you guys that if you guys are concerned about that and you really do want to get a water tank. If you live at a residence, it's not an apartment, most of the times you'll have a clean out like this. So this just says water, but underneath here is going to be the clean out for the house. So you could dump into there. I used to dump right into my septic system and I was always good to it. I never had any issues. So definitely possible. And if you guys look up there, there's the AC system, and that works only for cold air when the engine's on, because it needs to pump the refrigerant back and forth. So the lines run all the way the course of the roof here. And so I went ahead and removed that panel up there because when I got the van, I noticed that there was a lot of shaking going on because these outfitters did a really poor job. So what had happened was they had actually missed, let me see if I can get that for you guys. they had missed the ribs of the van. So that piece was really just kind of like floating around up there. See it right here? It wasn't inside the actual rib. Versus this one's actually inside the rib and it's bolted and fastened well. So I went ahead and took this down, and I will be putting it back up once I get done building out the roof. But I'm gonna have to basically take everything in the van. So the liner is gonna come down over here. This is gonna come down. I'm gonna basically strip everything down, and then I'm gonna insulate, and that's pretty much it. So I got this project coming up, and I'm going to do a review of the actual Sprinter and some of the features that I love about it, some things that kind of worry me about the van. So stay tuned for that video, and check out the whole playlist here for the Sprinter van build. And this is going to be the VS30, which is going to be the 2019 and newer Sprinters. And if you want to know what kind of vehicle you have, just go ahead and grab your smartphone camera here, and you want to go ahead and scan the rescue card with your iPhone or your Android camera, and it'll launch a QR code and it'll tell you what you have. But right here it tells me this is a A907, and people also refer to this as the VS30. And this is the company right here, guys. An Auto Truck Group right here is the company that did the upgrade for the inverter, which was done good, except for all the partitions were pretty bad quality, so keep that in mind. I also noticed that I found most of the clips that they had touched to be broken. So when I went to Mercedes-Benz, let me see if I have them here. So when I went to Mercedes-Benz, I actually had to go replace those clips. I had to buy those clips myself on a brand new vehicle and pop those in. So if you're going to let somebody else touch your van, just make sure they do a good job, guys. That's why I'm doing this one myself. Even though this was brand new, when I went and tried to find the ambient air temperature, I was underneath the van, and I noticed some of the clips were loose. And the same thing with the diesel heater. They were not really fastened in correctly, so I went ahead and tightened them up. But if you want something done right, go ahead and do it yourself. If you guys want to check out that video on the cheat for that diesel heater, definitely check the links below. You guys will find that, because that is a very interesting workaround because of the EPA rule where they don't want the diesel heater to be on unless it's under 29 degrees, which is really cold. So anyway, this is the diesel Sprinter build on the 2019 long wheelbase high roof van here. It is not the extended. As you guys know, there's another version. There's the 140, there's the 170, and then there's the extended 170. This is not the extended 170. This is the regular 170. But definitely a lot of room. And the best part about this is, guys, on this one is the fact that you can stand up in here. So this is a lot of room for me. So I still have quite a bit of room here. So so on the side here we got the ladder, and then I went ahead and got the roof rails from Vantech. Those are coming in. Then I got the roof rack as well, and it's not a basket, so I'm gonna probably build something up there, maybe a little decking area, maybe a tent, not really sure, but I lose a lot of room because of that AC system. So I'm gonna see how that works out, and I'm gonna go with the single roof fan up top, and I'm not going to do any kind of running boards or anything, just because I want to make sure I maintain my clearance. I might be getting a spare tire holder up here, so then I can go ahead and take the spare tire from down here and relocate it to back here. And what I'll do with that space down there where the spare tire is I'll go ahead and put I think it's a 21 or a 22 gallon water tank down there. I haven't decided on that because they make those really cool water tanks that actually go right above the wheel well, and they come in 20 gallon or 24 gallon sizes. So I can have 20 gallons here, 20 gallons there, and that's 40 gallons. And so I'm not really sure if I need that extra 21 or 22 gallons down there. So they also make another kit where you can make this into a storage compartment, so you can throw your wetsuit, whatever you don't want inside the van. Maybe batteries, something can be stored down there, but that's pretty pricey, and you have to actually cut a cross member out of the frame, which I don't really want to do. So yeah, that's pretty much the bulk of this. And this does have the rear backup camera, which is awesome. I don't have the 360, but I definitely have a 180-degree view back here, and I might do some lights back here for nighttime driving, because when you're backing up, it's really hard to see. And I already got some LEDs for the vehicle, so this vehicle did not come with the LED light upgrade, so I'm going to go ahead and upgrade this, and so that will be done soon. And for my shore power connector, I know a lot of people are building and cutting into the body of the van. I don't want to do that, so I'm actually thinking about placing it somewhere over here, maybe using the front bumper or leaving it loose and just grabbing it when I need to. And there's a lot of room. If you climb underneath the Sprinter here, underneath this area, there's tons of room down there, so I'm not sure how I'm going to utilize that. I already have the second battery here, and there's also another tray you can buy for about $90 through a company I found that basically just mounts right in there, so I can have a third battery there. So lots of options if you decide to go ahead and store some of the components in the hood area here. So some of the things that I'm doing here, I'm doing cabinets up top here. I'm going to do a kitchen galley, which is going to stick out to about halfway here on the ground. So that's going to happen. I do want to do a bathroom and use a cassette style toilet. So even though I'm not going to shower in here, but if I go on an extended trip, I would just like the option. So I've been really tossing those ideas around. And the other thing that I got to look out for is making sure that I can accommodate sleeping for 4 people. So my sons are 5 and almost 9 years old now. So I got to make sure I'm going to be able to get them in a comfortable situation. So those are just a few of the things that I'm doing. I have looked at the Happy Jacks, the bunk beds, all that stuff. And for me, I don't think it's the right way of going about it, just because I don't want to take 1 or 2 years doing this, guys. I have seen people knock this out. 2 people full time and spending lots and lots of money. I don't have that kind of time because I have a full-time job. So I want to get this to be functional. At the same time, I don't want to take away from the vehicle. So this is going to be the build sheet here from Mercedes-Benz. So this model is referred to by Mercedes-Benz as the MF2 PV76. I call it the VS30. It's the 907, whatever you want to call it. It's a jet black with the black leatherette. So these are the packages that I have here. And the total MSRP on this was supposed to be $61,408. And I do have the driver convenience package on here, the blind side assist right here. I have the automatic climate control, the rear air conditioner, and you guys can see the prices on this as I scroll back. And this is the other part of the build right here. So this was the company that did the retrofit, and you guys can see here that the bill for this was $6,331, and basically they went ahead and put in the front and rear bulkhead. They did the window cutouts. They did the green LEDs underneath the seats on here, which are pretty cool on that actually. Um, they also did the power outlets and did a total of 3 of those, and put the TV in here, and it all equaled $6,331. And if you guys really want to see that video on how I got this dirt cheap and how to find these deals, please comment down below, as I want to make sure that I'm producing content that you guys actually want to see, because I found it to be very challenging to get a good deal on a Sprinter van or RV, because there is a new pricing policy that's in effect now. It's called minimum advertised pricing, which basically doesn't let the dealer advertise the lowest cost on the vehicle or the lowest price. And in essence, you're going to have to go from dealer to dealer to get a good price, and nobody has the time for that, especially with COVID. So again, I found a little trick around that, and that's how I found my very first 2018 brand new Sprinter on the Thor, and I got that for $68,000. Was a 25 footer, completely done up. This time I actually wanted a camper van though, just because the drive. So I'm going to have a video link in the description box below that's going to cover all the real features of the van. I'm going to show you guys the little quirks, all the cool little things that it does in that. So if you guys want to check that out and find out about the gas mileage, those kind of things, go ahead and watch that down there. Alright guys, I hope you found that video to be helpful. If it was, go ahead and comment down below. Let me know if you guys have any questions. And if you guys are new to the channel, go ahead and consider subscribing by hitting that subscribe button and smashing on the notification button. So anytime I post videos that are going to help you with your van build, or just give you a different take on how to do this, you guys will get notified. Thanks.